Welcome back, everyone, to Data Science for Everyone. Today, we're going to be talking about animating the canvas in JavaScript. Let's get started. So, in the last couple videos, we talked about and mentioned that we could animate the canvas by drawing on it and updating an image multiple times per second. Now, in this video, we're going to actually code a very simple animation to show the basics of how this works. So, there are a couple things that we need to kind of take into account here. And I'm going to put them up here as just some notes. So first we want to update the state. 2, we want to clear the canvas. Whoops. And let me go on and actually 3, what we're going to do, we want to be able to draw an image. And 4, here we want to be able to repeat. Okay, so this is the basic pattern that creating an animation in JavaScript happens here. Now, state here means that some variables are going to store information about the current frame of the animation. Now, this could be the current location of an object in motion, the direction the object is moving in, or maybe the color even. Now, in our example, though, we're going to actually start out with our coordinates being x and y for a circle. And then when it's time to update the state, we're going to increment x and y coordinates by 1. Okay? And then that's going to change the circle's position, and it's going to gradually move across the screen. So we have our basic HTML here. We have a canvas. I'm going to label this animating the canvas. Okay, we're not going to have a header or anything, just going to have a title. We have attached our script tag. We have created up a canvas. We're calling it canvas, and it's going to have a width and a height of 400, so it'll be a nice square. So the next thing we want to do here is let canvas equal to our document dot query selector. And again, we're going to grab a hold of canvas. Then we're going to have our CTX canvas dot get context here. And again, we want this to be 2D. And then we'll let our width equal the canvas dot width, and let our height equal our canvas dot height. And then we'll let our starting point for x and y equal 0. And then we will create up a circle draw function. So function in here, we want draw circle. It's going to take in our x and y. We want our CTX dot fill style here. Let's let this just be green. And let's do CTX dot begin path in here. And so again, we're just drawing up a circle. This should just be a review of what we were doing in the past. We want our CTX dot arc here to be x, y. Let's make it a circle of 15. I'll start at 0. Again, we want our math dot pi multiplied by 2 and false. And then CTX dot fill. All right, good. So now we should, oops, this is the old one here. Let me pull up our new one. And there we go. Here's our open one. And notice nothing has come out of this because we haven't really drawn anything yet. We haven't called this draw circle function. So now let's go on and create an update function. Okay, it's not going to take anything. Well, update, and I want that lowercase. And it's going to have x plus equal 1, y plus equal 1. And so if it's plus equal 1 here, this means that this should take this a circle in a diagonal pattern. So now we have an update function. Now let's create up a draw function. And we're going to draw here, and what do we want in here? We actually don't want it to call anything, so we'll do ctx dot clear rectangle 0, 0, width and height, and we want it to draw the circle x, y. Okay, now the next thing we want to do is use the set interval function that we saw many videos in the past, and we're going to have it update, draw, and we want this to be done over a very quick frame of time. So let's go on back over and let's refresh here, and it's not working quite yet. So let's take a look and see where it went wrong. All right, so let's actually take a look, okay, and see how things went wrong. All right, so I know exactly where the issue is, but sometimes we need to be able to read and understand where the issues are. So if I refresh this again, notice nothing's happening like we expect something to be happening across the screen. So let's go over to our console. And if you notice here, uncaught type error, cannot read properties null reading context. And it tells us that it's happening somewhere around here in our script.js. So specifically our get context area. So let's go back over here to JavaScript and let's take a look. And it says something's wrong with this get context. Now specifically, if we look here, type error cannot read properties of null. So that means it's not getting anything from our context. Well, from experience, I know that what's happening here is this script right now actually needs to be below the canvas element here, because this ID here wasn't instantiated, it hadn't been created yet before it was trying to load that script. Okay, so now if we go back and we refresh, perfect. The error is gone, but what is happening here? There's nothing coming up across the screen. Well, let's go back. And some of you probably had noticed this before whenever I was writing up the JavaScript. But if I go here, notice I have x comma y equals 0. Well, I need another equals 0 in here for this to work, okay? I can't put in 2 zeros, 1 0 into 2 variables, okay? So now, again, let's go on and go back over here, and I can close that and let's refresh. And notice now we see this green dot going slowly across the screen. And if you wanted it to move a little bit faster, we can make it move a little bit faster. If you want it to move slower, you can make it move a little bit slower. You can have it maybe eventually have some fun with it. Maybe you give it some bounce or some zigzag, or maybe it bounces off the screen when it hits a corner, etc. But those are things that you can do later on and at your own pace. So let's take just a minute to actually go through each piece of this code to make sure that you kind of understand what's going on. All right, so first off, we created up 2 new variables, x and y. And these are representing the locations of the circle that we're going to animate. Specifically, it's the center of the circle. Okay, so we have our fill style. This is going to be for the color. Again, you could use the RGB color scheme or anything else, but it needs to be a string. Again, so you could maybe, let's do RGB, and let's put this in this, and you can do something like 120, 120, 120. All right, just to see some other color that you may want there. And we have our begin path. Again, we're starting up our circle. This arc creates up our circle. We want it to be a little bit bigger, so we put it at 15. We have the fill color. Now, that is going to draw the circle. Now, we have the update function, okay? And this is going to make it move across a screen one step at a time. So you could, for example, do something like 5 and 5 if we want to, and we can go back over here and we can refresh it, and notice, woo, it shoots across the screen, and notice now that it's gray. But look, it does look a little jittery when it's doing that, okay? So to smooth that out, you may want to change up how many milliseconds or something that this is updating. And we'll talk about that in just a second. Let's move that back to 1 and 1 so it looks a little bit better. Now the draw function is going to clear out the previous circle that was there, and then it is going to update the draw function. Now, if we comment this out, we're going to get something interesting happen over here. And notice all it does is draw a line, okay? It's not going to stutter. It's not going to do anything there. It's just going to draw this line all the way across the screen, right? Because it is not constantly clearing out the rectangle after each use. So finally, we have our set interval. And this set interval, again, we've talked about it before, is that it's going to hold and run this anonymous function in here, this arrow function. So specifically, we want it to update, to move the ball, or move the circle, and we want it to draw and clear and draw the circle. And it's going to be doing this every 100 milliseconds. So again, you want this to move a little bit faster. You can cut this down to size to maybe every 10 milliseconds, and it should just basically shoot across the screen here. Okay, see, it's shooting across the screen nice and fast. So now you see how to utilize animations with JavaScript. And again, this is just the very taste of what you can do with JavaScript. And if you want more content like this, and you want to maybe see more complex images and that type of stuff, let me know in the comments below. If you guys like this content and you want more of it, please comment, subscribe, and again, hit that like button, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.